Let me go ahead and zoom this camera in because I want you guys to really pay attention to what I have to say in this video. You guys really want to bring the old Jordan out, don't you? You really do. You really want me to be that resentful, bitter young man that I used to be. Maybe people find it entertaining, or even worse, some people find that to be inspirational. Some people find resentment to be inspirational. I used to be one of those people. I used to be one of those people who would watch the Michael Jordan I Took It Personal videos, and I would draw inspiration from that. And then I realized that that's no way to live my life. That is no way to live my life, because even when I accomplish everything that I want to accomplish to spite other people, I'm still going to feel dissatisfied because I'm still living for them. I'm not living for myself. And once I realized that, I began to take proactive measures to move into a space where I could live for myself and simply document that process and hopefully inspire other people to do the same. I've taken every opportunity possible on this channel, at least if my memory serves me correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've taken every opportunity possible on this channel to tell you guys to think for yourselves. I don't want to have a bunch of blind followers. I don't want to be a cult. I don't want to have people who simply listen to what I have to say and just apply it without actually processing the information and thinking about it in the context of their lives. But it seems like for whatever reason, people want to put me in that box. And I'm here to tell you, you can try to put me in that box if you want to, but it is not my responsibility to adhere to your expectations. It is not. Now, you might be wondering where all of this is coming from. This morning, I was having a really good morning too. I still am, to be honest, but this morning I got this email from this person. I won't say who this person is, but if you're watching this, you know exactly who you are. And I think it's much better for me to just read the email so that I can respond to each individual part. I actually already replied to the email itself, but I just want to put this out there because I feel like this right here is the essence of a lot of criticism that I'm probably, just working with hypotheticals here, probably getting at this point in time. So I'm just going to go ahead and read this email and I'm going to answer piece by piece. Hey Jordan, I know that you may be going through a hard time in life right now, but you can't change shit with this type of energy. First of all, let me go ahead and clear this misconception. Am I going through a hard time? Yeah, you could say that. But just because I'm living in a car doesn't mean that times are any harder than they were when I was living in the apartment or living with my parents. You see, a lot of the videos that I'm making right now, a lot of the problems that I'm articulating, that I'm voicing in my videos, these have been recurring problems since well before I found myself in this situation where I'm living in a car. The only difference is that now I no longer have other people and material pleasures to distract me from the problems that I've been dealing with. So this is why all of a sudden I'm making all of these videos where I'm doing this introspection, where I might feel or seem a little bit lost, but in all actuality, these are battles that I've been fighting for years now. Whether I was at the pinnacle, what maybe some of you perceive to be the pinnacle of my success here on YouTube, or at the very bottom when I was working at H&M or even before that, these are problems that I've been facing for years. The only difference is that now I'm addressing them. But me having a BMW and an apartment never changed any of that. Which is why I realized I need to get rid of that stuff. Because now I'm paying all these bills for something that doesn't actually help the root issue. Right? This lifestyle that doesn't help the root issue. I shouldn't even have to explain all of this, but I just want to clear all of these misconceptions up. Anyways, you have to be realistic. In this so-called matrix, you need money to buy back time. From the look of it, you're not doing anything useful but creating a community of crybabies. Now look, here's the thing. You can say what you want about me. I don't care what you think about me, but you're not going to come from my community like that. That's one thing you're not going to do. Because my community has some of the most intelligent, bright, introspective people out there. People that know how to think for themselves. Are there people out there, maybe young, impressionable men, who follow my every move? Potentially. That's what comes with having a community. But at the same time, to my point earlier, I advocate for people to think for themselves. I've said various times now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've said various times, I'm not a leader, I'm a teacher. The most I can do is lead you to your path, but I can't lead you down your own path. If you reach a point where your path no longer resonates with mine, then that's the point when you stop consuming my content. I'm not here to just build this brand of self-development. I think that's probably the biggest misconception about my channel, is that my intention was to build a self-development brand. That was never my intention. That was never my intention. There were points in time when maybe people put me in that box and I might have began to adhere to those expectations, but that was never the root intention of my channel. As a matter of fact, let's go back in time. Okay, let's go back to the inception of this self-development space, at least as it pertains to my channel. May 24th, 2020. That's when I posted my very first true, in my opinion, self-development video. It was my NoFap 30-day benefits video. That video blew up. It blew up for the time. I think it had 500 views the first day. And at the time, the most viewed video on my channel maybe had 5,000 views. So I knew very quickly that that was going to be the most viewed video on my channel. And then now I had a bit of momentum, a bit of inertia, and I could build upon that. So what did I do? First of all, what's the most logical thing I could have done in that situation? If I wanted to build a self-development brand, I had the wherewithal to know that maybe I should follow this up with another NoFap video. Maybe I should follow this up with another NoFap video and build on that momentum and let that be the basis of my brand. But what did I do? I said, fuck that. I'm going to post what I want to post. So instead, I used that momentum and I used that exposure, because when you have a video that does well on YouTube, relative to your channel size, YouTube will start to promote your other videos as well. I immediately followed that up with a spoken word video. The video was called Love Letter, or as a matter of fact, it might have been Why Love Hurts. It was a poetry video, a poetry-based video. Why did I choose to do that? I chose to do that because from the very beginning, that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to showcase my writing ability, and YouTube was simply a platform which allowed me to do that. Now, did I plan on my NoFap video blowing up? No, that was actually a throwaway video. I was just trying to get that video out of the way. Ultimately, that's not how things worked out. That video ended up doing very, very well. And like I said, I used that momentum, I used that inertia to bring exposure to my actual gift, my actual passion. Right now, speaking of gifts, where did I get this mentality from of using your gift and really leaning on your gift? Steve Harvey. I want you to remember that name, Steve Harvey. A lot of you guys have heard of Steve Harvey. Maybe some of you know exactly where I'm going with this, but keep that in mind as I go through the rest of this email. Where was I? Oh yeah, dudes who watch your videos because they just want to cry all day instead of putting in the work to change their situation. I get it, life can be hard at times, but hard times is what creates strong men. It's nothing wrong with starting off small and working your way back up. Working your way back up to what? I have more subscribers than I've ever had. That's the thing. I think that's where a lot of these misconceptions are taking place. It's because people are putting their expectations of what they want in their lives onto me, right? And at times, I let that get to me as well. Sometimes I start thinking, man, I want that crazy house and these crazy cars. I don't care about any of that stuff. I realize that now. I don't need that stuff because I've already been down that road. I didn't go super far down that road, but I went far enough to know that that doesn't actually affect my internal state of being. Therefore, that stuff is largely irrelevant. If you want to have that experience, that's fine. I'm not saying I'm against that experience of having material pleasures in life, but at the same time, I know better than to make my self-worth and my happiness contingent on material objects, because it doesn't actually work. Okay, my bad. My camera just overheated. I'm trying to remember where I was in the email, but I think I was here. I get it, life can be hard sometimes, but hard times is what creates strong men. There's nothing wrong with starting off small and working your way back up, but sitting and sleeping in your car all day is not the move. That's the one that triggered me. That sentence right there. I'm not gonna lie. Look, I always tell you guys, don't let other people affect your energy or affect your frequency, affect how you feel. Look, I'm not perfect, okay? I am not perfect and I never will be perfect. That one right there struck a nerve because it's just false. It's simply false. And the fact that it's false should, hypothetically, mean that it doesn't affect me at all. But for whatever reason, that's what triggered me the most. To say that I'm sitting here in my car not doing anything is, quite frankly, the dumbest shit that I've ever heard. Because I'm in here working on my third book, for one. I'm also filming videos such as this one. Okay, I'm creating content still. I'm doing consultations. I'm working on my website. Just because you don't see me working, just because I don't document myself working, doesn't mean that I'm not actually in here working. Now, am I also taking time to do some introspection and reflection? Yes, I am. I have a lot of free time in the car. Every day, if I wanted to, I could get in a really good workout, film a video, work on my book, do a consultation, and I would still have a lot of time to spare. Because that's the nature of living in a car. You have less distractions. You have less things to do. So, yeah, I have a lot of extra time, but that doesn't mean I'm not working. Now, with that being said, be grateful you still have your family here with you. The only time I get to see mine is if I fly for 18 hours to Guinea. Imagine how they would feel if I put myself in your shoes and decided to give up. This right here, this one also triggered me. Because, and this is something that I've seen quite a few people say, is that I'm not grateful for my family. That shit right there is mind-blowing to me. That you could draw such a substantial conclusion just based on the fact that I choose to live somewhere else or that I want to travel. Just because I want to travel doesn't mean that I don't love my family. I was just talking to my parents yesterday. I talked to them for 2 hours and they were telling me to go move overseas. And I said, wow, I'll think about it. They opened my eyes to a new perspective. That's even further than LA. Right now, I'm a 21, 22-hour drive. Overseas, the place that they were talking about is, I believe, a 24-plus hour flight. So they're on board with this. Have they told me to move back in with them at times? Yes, they have. Because they're my parents. And they're worried about me at times, of course. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, they know that I am a grown-ass man who is capable of taking care of myself. I'm 22 going on 23. At this age, my dad was already married to my mom. They were getting ready to have their first child. Now, with that being said, I don't plan on having a child anytime in the near future, but I'm saying that to say that that runs in my blood. Okay, I am an independent man. I am capable of taking care of myself. And just because I want to live somewhere else, just because I want to have the freedom to travel to other places does not mean that I don't love my family. If they chose to move to LA, I would go and see them at the very least every single week, just like I did when I lived in the apartment. But they don't live in LA, and I'm not going to make that drive every single week. So we just settle for phone calls or pictures or text messages or whatnot. But don't come in here and try to label or judge my family dynamic when you don't know shit about me and my family. Okay, like I said, you can say whatever you want about me, but don't bring my family into this because you're simply ill-equipped to talk about my family. In the same way, I'm ill-equipped to talk about your family. So I won't. To me, that's just common sense. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but like I said, to say that I'm not grateful for my family is absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I spent the first, 21 years of my life living with them. When it was time to leave, I left. And once I left, I told myself I am not going to move back in with them because I don't believe in going back. Just like I'm never going to go back and work at H&M, I'm not going to move back in with them. Also, another quick misconception that I want to clear up. I feel like a lot of you guys, you think that I'm struggling with money, and I don't know where that perception stems from because I literally cut my expenses back by My rent was $1,200 a month. My car note was an extra almost $400 a month. I cut my expenses back by $1,600 a month. That's an extra $1,600 in my pocket every single month. I don't know where that perception came from, but I just wanted to clear that shit up with the quickness because I'm not sitting here struggling. Okay, I am not over here struggling. Am I rich? No, but I am able to stack my bread. I'm getting ready to pay my taxes and I'm not worried about paying them because I know I'll have enough money because I'm able to put money away every month. Okay, my bad. My camera overheated again. Trying to remember where I was in the email, but I think I was here. Imagine the young men looking up to you. They're kids who think it's a bad thing to work. How are you supposed to live? Sit in the car and meditate all day and cry? Nah, that shit is for pussies. Get out there and make it happen. Use your platform to inspire and not destroy the lives of young men with this type of advice. Again, to sit here and create this narrative that I'm out here destroying the lives of young men by simply providing them with an alternative method of living without actually pushing this onto them, I'm simply saying, hey, I'm doing this and you can do it too if you want to. This is a viable way of living. You get to travel around the country and see different things that you probably wouldn't get to see. You develop life skills that most people will never actually develop, such as, for example, adaptability. And you get to do this for a much lower cost than it would be to get an apartment or a house. To sit here and create this narrative that I am actively trying to destroy the lives of young men by showcasing an alternative way of living is absurd. It makes no sense to me, and I'm trying to figure out where you're getting this from. And I'm not just talking to this one person, I'm talking to everybody who agrees with this person, because it doesn't make sense to me. I don't know who you're watching, but me personally, I watched a lot of Steve Harvey. I watched a lot of Steve Harvey over these past few years. And one thing that I said in my response to his email was that Steve Harvey lived in his car for 3 years before he saw his dreams come true. Now he owns more homes than most people do cars. Did that make him a crybaby? I think you need to expand your perspective and look at the big picture. I'm simply passing forth the insights that I've received from the people that I've looked up to on my journey, all of whom are doing very well for themselves. This is true. Steve Harvey lived in his car for 3 years. You can go fact check this for yourself. As a matter of fact, he didn't get on TV until he was 38 years old. And look, I'm not his accountant or anything, but go and Google his net worth for yourself. See what his net worth is. Now, I'm not saying that net worth is a viable way of determining one's well-being, but I will say that he has given me more inspiration than any self-development content creator has. And his primary message wasn't about going to the gym or doing nofap or any of that other stuff. All of that is fluff. That's like protein powder. You don't need it. You don't need to take protein powder to build muscle. Does it help? Yeah, it most certainly can. But at the end of the day, it's all about how much faith you have and whether or not you're willing to allow divine intervention into your life. This person is operating from the mentality that you need to work. You need to do nothing but work to get to your goals. Newsflash, the hardest that I ever worked was when I worked at IHOP. I was making, when you adjust for all of the fees and the taxes, less than minimum wage. Less than minimum wage. I wasn't taking breaks, no vacation, none of that. I was working holidays. They made me work 15 hours on Christmas Day. Talk about not grateful for your family. I worked 15 hours on Christmas Day. I was 16 years old. 15 hours on Christmas Day, less than minimum wage. To sit here and imply that I don't have a work ethic or that I'm not grateful for my family when I've spent days where I had to work 15 hours on Christmas Day while my family is over here spending time together, to me, it doesn't make any sense. But you don't know that because you don't know that portion of my life. A lot of people, they have these little snapshots of my life. They watched a few of my videos and they think they know everything about me. You don't. All you know is what I choose to show you. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know the goals that I have other than being a full-time author, primarily. And for me, I'm willing to let go of all of the material pleasures of life to make that happen. I'm not here to build this self-development based brand. I'm here to make that deeper dream come into fruition, or rather to allow that deeper dream to come into fruition. You can't work your way to where I'm going. Does that mean I'm not working? Absolutely not. No. I'm still working on my books. I'm still writing multiple poems a day at times. And I'm still constantly doing the introspection that I need to do and living the life that I need to live in order to facilitate those insights which you see in my books. But at the same time, you're not necessarily going to see the results of that immediately. I might drop this book and it doesn't become a bestseller for the next 10 years. I don't know. That's not up to me. That's up to the divine, the universe, God, source energy, whatever you want to call it. Allah, Buddha, whoever you believe in. Whoever you believe in. But what I will say is you need to believe in something. You need to have some type of deeper faith than just hard work. Because if you think that hard work is going to take you to that spot, then you're going to be disappointed. You're going to be disappointed. I never gave up on my goals. I never gave up. I just let go. You have to understand the difference. To give up is to say that I have no chance of making this happen. To let go is to say it's already done. All I need to do is play my role. And that's what I'm doing. I'm playing my role. And had I moved back in with my parents and locked in on YouTube on the self-development brand that I never even wanted to actually establish, then I would be moving further from that goal. That would be giving up. But you guys aren't ready for that conversation yet, are you?